It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. Now when I release my job, it's okay. Even though I ain't been asleep in 4 days. Young man learning to fish, it's no days to a light except the first and the 15th. Self-invested, I came from home infested. My confession, that's why I count my blessings. I've been flexing, cause I ain't had a muscle, had to grind, had to hustle. Now they got me in my duffel, used to pray for this. I was made for this. Consummate, professional, jaded kiss. I made the flip, it better my relationship. And now them broke days looking like some ancient shit. That's why I go so hard with the daily content. Each one teach one, that's my mindset. Doing what it take to break away from the toxins, revealing my process. I'm sharing my progress. Negativity can't break my soul. Been rapping since 8 years old. The legend is told. It's somebody that you seen had to take this road. I showed up for the money, but the bank was closed. We done had a crib foreclosed. Mom's lost it all. Young Jay had to go and pick up the ball. Walked in the lane, Billy had the courage to score. 2022, check the numbers up on the board. Placement after placement, it's amazing. Came from home invasion, my location. Formed a reputation, had to face it. We up against inflation, still I'm patient. Gotta get more, yes, time to explore. Putting ducks in a row like it's Connect for the folks I rep for. Surviving street wars, I opened up doors from about a whole floor. Ooh, Sierra, how I leveled up. I don't see error, I see the fact that I ain't done enough. Waking up at 5 a.m. more than how I'm coming up. Dog, I used to be at work way before the sun was up. Fuck that! What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this Wednesday. In this video, we're going to be getting into Beyonce real quick, all right? So apparently, a former stage manager who used to work with Beyonce on her tours is, I guess, going through a rough time. Now, he didn't come out himself. His name is Cooley. He didn't come out himself with this information. However, his daughter has come out on TikTok and has gone super viral over the course of the last couple of days. And she put out a very long video detailing what her father used to do on the road with Beyonce as far as managing the stage, the tours. Of course, that's a very strenuous job in terms of long hours, dedicated time, being at the shows, coordinating everything, making sure everything is perfectly in place. Of course, Beyonce has a lot of different moving parts with her live show, so everything has to be on point, right? But apparently, Mr. Cooley is no longer working with Beyonce. I'm guessing he wasn't a part of the Cowboy Carter tour, but I do believe his last foray was somewhere around Renaissance. And I think the Dubai show or something like that, which she's going to get into. We're going to watch her video and try to get some clarity on this situation. For anybody out there wondering if this dude really did actually work for Beyonce, he absolutely did. He even has a video of his day in the life as the stage manager for Beyonce. I don't know what year he put it up. I'm going to check that out. But we do know they do actually have history. This isn't no bullshit, all right? And it looks like the video that I'm talking about was actually uploaded in 2015, 11 years ago. I'll show it to y'all in a minute. But first, let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of what this young lady is saying. See a lot of people out there trying to vilify Beyonce on social media. So let me try to gain some understanding from this video because I didn't sit and watch it before doing this. I wanted to actually get my natural reaction on here with y'all.
Hi. My name is Medi, and I have considered making this video for a few years, and I didn't because I was nervous to record myself and post it. But I'm at the point where, why not? So this is a story time, kind of, but also kind of a plea for help from the TikTok fam about my dad and Beyonce. Yes, that Beyonce. So my dad was Beyonce's stage manager and production manager for over 20 years. You can look him up. His name is Cooley. And this is him. This is also him. This is back in 2013. This is a meme that went viral on TikTok, on Twitter a long time ago of him. And this is him. And this is actually, I'll link it in the bottom. This is actually a short film that Beyonce had her team make. It's about 2.5 minutes. I encourage you guys to go watch it. It'll really substantiate what I'm about to say. But it was about the work. It's called Mrs. Carter Go for Terry. And it's about the work that my dad did with her and did for over 2 decades. And this is my dad. And this is me and my brothers and my mom. And this was at my graduation. And so that's my family.
All right, get to it, man.
So here it goes. My dad worked for Beyonce, again, for a really long time. And throughout those years, he was, the stage production manager. And for those of you who don't know what that position entails, it's everything. She is known for putting on some of the most elaborate, amazing, beautiful tours, concerts ever, and my dad was at the heart of them. There's usually a couple different stage and production managers, one that designs the stage and controls the design of the stage, and then one who oversees the creation of the stage and the actual show, putting on the show, piecing everything together. And that is my dad. He is the heart and soul behind the Beyonce that you guys know, behind the performances and the shows put on by the Beyonce that you all know. So yeah.
From a production standpoint.
So
be clear, we're talking about production as far as the stage, lights, sound, bringing the staging in, making sure it's perfectly placed, making sure all of the logistics and stuff are in order. You know what I'm saying? So not as far as Beyonce's personal prep, singing, dancing, etc. Just want to be clear because everybody watching is not in this thing. You know what I mean?
Around a couple of years before COVID, maybe a year before COVID, my dad, who also tours with other people, whenever Beyonce's not on tour, he's toured with many, many other people. And so at the time, he was doing I believe, a residency with Mariah Carey in Las Vegas. And there was an incident where, it's kind of complicated, but essentially he collapsed and he was having some issues with his neck, some impinged nerves. They had to take him to the hospital. He had to be taken off the residency. He came home. He ended up having to get surgery. It was a pretty big deal. But the I guess diagnosis was essentially that my dad was overworked. And that's not by any fault particularly of Beyonce or anybody else. My dad's just a really hard worker.
Okay, so where are we going here? All right. Okay, so you prefaced that he worked with Beyonce for 20 years, which Beyonce has done a decent bit of touring over the last 20 years, but she doesn't tour year round every year. She says that he works with other artists when she's not in rotation, and that he injured himself during Mariah Carey's Las Vegas residency, which took place when? I think that's pretty recent, ain't it? So he had all these pinched nerves, and I think this is 2023 from what people are saying online. But he's working himself into exhaustion, which I can understand that. A lot of parents do that when they have kids and families, and probably loves the job that he does because he gets to be a part of these big iconic moments in music. And I'm sure it pays him well, especially with the amount of expertise that he has, right? But he ends up injuring himself during the Mariah Carey residency, and she says that's of no fault to Beyonce. So I'm very curious where this goes next.
And going back, if you go watch this video, it will exemplify that. My dad worked 22-hour days when he was on tour, and he'd be on tour for months at a time, traveling the world. So you go from airplane to tour bus to working 24-hour days, setting up, starting, closing down a show, sleeping for 3 hours, and then doing it in another city the next day. So my dad worked his ass off my entire life. And as a result, he ended up having some very extensive and severe physical trauma. So he ended up getting treated. He got his surgery, and then COVID happened. And when COVID happened, there were no tours, and my dad got paid on on a as work basis. So when there's no tours, there's no money. And so
he's a gig worker.
During those couple of years during COVID where there were no tours to be had, my dad had to use his savings to pay all of my family's bills. And that ran out. And so the house that my parents built when I was little and that I grew up in, my parents had to sell it because they didn't have any money. And so they sold their house and moved into my grandmother's house. And then less than a year later, the Hurricane Helene hit and my grandmother's house flooded. And it flooded about 5 feet and my parents were displaced. My grandmother went and moved into my aunt's house, and my parents, by the grace of God, literally, and our church and the connections in our small town, were able to move into a home owned by this man from our community who's been so kind to let them stay there for over a year, during which time my dad has done everything he can to fix the house, but financially it's just they're at a stopping point and they can't get back into their home. But nevertheless, going back into how this is relevant to Beyonce, my dad spent a few years during COVID rehabilitating, and he never fully got back to the physical ability level that he was at before his incident, but nevertheless he rehabilitated himself extensively, and he was
So based on this timeline, I don't even know if he worked with, well, maybe she'll circle back to Beyonce's latest tours, because again, last two tours is Cowboy Carter and Renaissance, right? Which is all within the last 3-4 years. She's talking about I guess he injured himself on the Mariah Carey thing prior to COVID, so that's not even 2023. So maybe people's information is not lining up, or maybe her story timeline isn't just connecting the way that it should. I don't know. Something is a little confusing here. But let her continue.
elated when he got a job opportunity to go with Beyonce to a hotel opening, if I'm remembering correctly, in Dubai. And so, this was a big deal. This was the first time my dad had gone back out into the field since his injury. He was excited. He missed his work. He needed the money, right? So he goes out to Dubai. And I can't remember exactly how long he was out there for, but essentially he got fired because of his physical state. The team that was working for Beyonce at the time, and mind you, again, my dad has been not only on Beyonce's team, but one of the head people in Beyonce's team for 20 plus years since he was working with since she was in Destiny's Child. They decided that he just wasn't keeping up enough because he couldn't walk fast enough and he couldn't move quickly enough, even though there are plenty of positions that they could have given him where he could sit behind a desk and help design the stage, or, have fewer, maybe not be expected to work 24 hours straight, right? But rather than make accommodations, they made the determination to let him go. So long story short, here we are today in 2026. And my dad has been out of work for a few years. And they being my mom and dad, have hit a financial wall that my brothers and I can only help so much with, because this is the American economy, right? We have to take care of a million things. And I worry about my dad because he put his heart and his soul into Beyonce's career and other celebrities too, but primarily her. And they cut him loose and fired him after 20 something years of service, after he gave his health and his body to helping her succeed, and without so much as a livable or a substantial severance. So where we're at now is that my dad is suffering financially, and he's suffering.
All right, hold on, y'all. Hold on. So a severance comes when you work for a company. You know what I'm saying? Now, to my knowledge, and I'm not like, number one, I hope things get better for her family, her father, and everyone involved, because last few years have been fucked up for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Financially, it's been rough, man. The economy has been in the shit. Housing market's been fucked up. Natural disasters have been crazy, displacing people. Like, it's been a shit show out here, right? So I empathize with all of that, right? But as a stage manager, I do believe that you work for the companies as they hire you. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're a lifetime employee or something like that where you're just on payroll consistently. You only get paid for the work that you do. So if you're not able to physically complete said work, unfortunately, that's just not where the pay comes from. I think where things get a little tough for her father is that he dedicated his life to this strenuous job, which requires you to be on foot, requires you to be cognitively like at your peak, because any mistake could fuck up the show. And not only fuck up the show and the experience for the audience, but there's times during the show in which, especially with people like Beyonce, we saw last year, she was in that fucking car and that shit started dropping and stuff like that. You could possibly put the physical well-being of the artist in jeopardy if you're not on point, if everybody's not working on one cylinder, right? So this is a pretty big deal. But unfortunately, if you're ever in a position where you're not able to complete those tasks, you then are left having to pick up the pieces and figure out another profession, because it's like I done this. I saw his LinkedIn. He's been doing this particular job in stage production and all of this stuff for nearly 40 years. This is before Beyonce, and I don't know where he stands today, if he's able to continue, but he's been doing this since the 80s. So I'm just not sure how any of this is necessarily Beyonce's fault, right? Especially like I said before, because Beyonce doesn't tour every year. She doesn't tour year round. So his financial well-being or physical well-being isn't determined by her alone. You know what I mean? He was working with Mariah Carey when he got injured. Why isn't nobody reaching out to Mariah Carey to say, hey, he got injured while on the job with y'all? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Perhaps that happened and that money ran out, if there was any. But I just don't understand how this becomes a Beyonce thing. Especially if I were to go and look in between the gaps between each of Beyonce's tours, I'm sure there's plenty of other artists that he worked with in between that time. But anyway, he's having a financial hardship, which I do understand. She's his child. She's trying to of course, get help. But I'm not really keen to the way that she's positioning this story. I gotta be honest.
Emotionally, because he was basically, you know, my boyfriend compared it to Cam Newton the other night, if you're a football fan. But, those who know that, I guess Cam Newton said once that he knows in his mind that he's done playing football, but he doesn't know in his heart. And that's my dad. Sorry. So anyway, I'll make this short. My dad has given his all to his career, and the fact that it was cut short is really painful to him. And so that plus the fact that financially it has crippled him has put him in a terrible place that I never want to see someone that I love, let alone my dad, who I look up to and is the light of my life. So if you could go watch the video, that'd be great. And if you could tag Beyonce and ask her to make things right with my dad and you know, maybe
Hey, yo, this is crazy. So they reached out to him, as in Beyonce's team, gave him the opportunity to pick up where he left off as stage manager in Dubai. He was not physically capable of completing those tasks for whatever reason, health reasons, of course. Therefore, he was not able, just like I said a few minutes ago, if you're not on point, you're not going to be able to perform at the highest level. And we're talking about the highest level of artists, highest level of production, highest level of entertainment. So everybody got to be firing on one cylinder. He was not able to complete that job. Therefore, he did not get paid for it, which means that somebody else was paid to fill in that position. And now she's saying that Beyonce needs to make it right with her father because he was not compensated for not being able to complete the task in Dubai. That's interesting.
apologize for disregarding the career that they had. That would be great. I don't know. And if you have anything nice to say that I could pass along to him, that would be great because he deserves it. And that's it. Thanks for watching.
Okay, we could cut that off because I actually have the video, so we don't have to watch it in sideways orientation. But wow. Okay. Let me see. Was he working for a company or anything, or was he just a straight up freelancer? So I can't find any particular company. This website here is Stuck in Motion, which is a like an agency, a production company, or whatever. This is where they're hosting the video, basically broadcasting Mr. Cooley's, day in the life as Beyonce's stage manager. So let's check this out.
Did you copy, Terry? You need 1 minute.
Yeah, 1 minute. Copy.
All right, Terry, Witness House is show ready.
Get ready to go, guys.
All right, guys, we are ready to start the show. Everyone stand by.
Copy. Here we go again, right?
Lights out, go.
Shit loud as fuck.
Hey Derek, on my way down. The cab already been advanced.
I see myself as someone who basically can get a show built, create a consistent performing environment, and to be connected to the show is really important to me.
We create this world out here. It's a little traveling city almost, a little traveling community that goes place to place. There's a certain excitement, there's a certain fulfillment that happens from being out there on the road, seeing the crowd, seeing the product at the end of the day, connecting to the artist and feeling proud of your show.
All right, guys, we are ready to start the show. Everyone stand by.
I've stage managed Beyonce probably more than any other artist.
1 minute.
Get ready to go, guys. Here we go again, right?
Lights out, go.
I really care deeply about her well-being and her performing environment on stage.
People see mostly the results of our work, but not all the things it takes to get our jobs done. And at the end of the day, we get ready to do it again.
All right. And that video was made 11 years ago. So 2014, 2015 era. And you can see he wasn't the youngest guy back then. So take that into account, his health, all that different type of stuff. Here's what I will say. Okay. I think since around 2003, we'll just talk about Beyonce's solo career. I think she damn near toured every 2 to 3 years. So I do feel like that's enough time to build a bond with somebody, especially if they're that intimate with the production of your show. Does that mean that when that person has a health crisis that you have to step in and alleviate them, or anything like that? No, doesn't. However, I do believe that if they would have approached, and when I say they, I really mean the daughter, because I don't know what Mr. Terry is doing. He, again, to my knowledge, he's not coming out here complaining or saying anything publicly or trying to run anybody's name through the dirt, but his daughter is. But as a family unit, I think if they would have reached out to Beyonce through the means of however they've been getting in contact with her over the course of the last 20 some years and let her know about the situation at hand, I'm sure this could have gone a lot differently than going to TikTok and just putting this out there like Beyonce is the reason why his career is no more, or that Beyonce is the reason he can't eat. Don't really like the way that was pushed out there. Some people, are anti Beyonce, anti Jay-Z, feel like they're everything that's wrong with the world. So of course they're going to see everything through that lens. But for me personally, I just feel like this was not the right way to go about the situation. And in working in this field for so long, I think it's a fucking sham professionally that he wasn't able to join some sort of union or something, you know what I mean, to where he would have had some kind of protection in case his health didn't go right. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what type of insurance he may have been paying for over the course of his career, because I highly doubt that he was being paid in peanuts, especially since Beyonce is an artist that, again, tours extensively. She's got tours that have included nearly to over 100 dates, and you get paid for each one. So I think he's probably made a lot of money in this lifetime. Now, how he handled or saved or invested or, held on to that money or had a rainy day fund in case something like this happened, I don't know. But it is an unfortunate situation. I hope that he is able to recover. I hope their family is able to recover on a human level. But Miss Mary, I don't think you did your father any favors with this. You know what I'm saying? I think you could have come out and just let the people know that your dad had worked in the industry for very many years, worked with people like Beyonce, Mariah Carey, maybe gave people a list of other people that he did work for, and just say, hey, he's put a lot of time in. He's going through a financial struggle. If anybody would like to contribute, here's how you can help. Even that I could have respected. But when you tell a long story and then you try to center it around Beyonce like she's the reason why all of this is falling apart in your family's lives, that's not the truth. Okay? But I do hope that y'all are able to recover and persevere. All right. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. All right. Peace. Yeah. Family over fame in this bitch. Yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking, the drama be piling on. Father and great son acknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 6 bank accounts, every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I could do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I'll turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I ran for filth. The sympathy cause consulting for the stacks I built. I